Most people might agree with you. Yeah, Bob, that's so true. Like, you are so easy. They would be lying.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing. You're just particular.
Yeah.
I'm not particular. I'll just be like, whatever. Like, let's get it done. Let's do it. Bye. Like,
I think because I have a mild case of OCD,
mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, if this is, but I like things in order and I like things to be excellent. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not going to be a stickler if that flower is not perfectly standing up or like, something, but little things like the logo having the
Mm-hmm.
things on the like that's going to bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to change that. And he might be like, she's not that's not easy going. So yes, you're right
Mm-hmm.
in that instance. But it's always when it comes to my stuff. I'm never gonna be easygoing when it comes to my stuff because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get the blame or the credit. So when it's not good or people are talking about it negatively, it's not going to be the people that are behind the scenes. It's going to be Bobby. How dare she
Mm-hmm.
present this or do that? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I always want to do things in excellence because you
Mm-hmm.
can't be perfect. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
I'm a
guess.
perfectionist, but only with some things. But I think that that's because some things I feel the way like you do, and then some things I just be like pick my battles. And but I think that comes with having to deal with all the people that I have to deal with in my life on a daily basis, like whatever, pick my battles. But I think I'm I don't know if a perfectionist means that I'm just hard on myself. Nobody could ever be as hard on me than I am on myself. So if some may say that's a perfectionist, but I think that's just
Yeah.
I'm really hard on myself, like extremely hard on myself. So
And that's something you probably need to work on is giving yourself the same grace that
some
you give
credit.
people credit
Yeah.
and grace because it's like I've been to the Beyonce show and her hair got caught in the fan. Like things happen and you can't really control it. And you have to be okay with knowing that you did your best and you
Mhm.
did things in excellence because
Mhm.
perfection is not.
Mhm.
We could see a flawless show to us, but the people that
Mhm.
actually put it on could be like, this was wrong, this was wrong, this was
Mhm.
wrong. But as long as you're giving your best and your all,
Mhm.
that's all you can. Things don't ever go like not from nowhere, from a wedding to a movie, like things when I shot the movie, um, nothing went as planned. They
Mhm.
constantly going over days. They had to reshoot some stuff, and it's like you have to pivot. And while you're pivoting, you have to give yourself grace as well as others. And I think that's the difference when people want to continue to work with people. But because I feel like I have so much love and like I how I do one thing is how I do everything. So you come over to the house and I'm giving you that same spread. I'm putting the
Mhm.
fresh flowers. I'm doing the setup, the branding. It's my mama come. It's like everyone gets the same royal treatment and people
That is true.
like how you make them feel. It
That's
doesn't
true.
matter. That's what they remember most. It's like, damn, she really
Made me
like
feel
yeah,
good.
all the men were just like, thank you for opening up your home. Like this was such a beautiful event. And
Well, guess what? You need to take them same men and have a singles. All
like a little
them.
mixer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of them weren't single. I didn't even get into that. Welcome. I have Lena here with me for an episode of Dairy Free Game. I'm so excited to have her here. Lena is best known for her versatile performances, both on stage and on camera. Along with being an actress, she is an experienced writer and producer. Lena is motivated and committed, which has excelled her and gets her, as they say, booked and busy. So before we get started, I want to start this episode the way we're going to start everyone, which is taste test something that my guest chose that was dairy and made it dairy free. So Lena picked spinach dip. This is actually hot. I don't know if you had the hot version or the cold version in mind, but
I'm Puerto Rican. I like it hot, hot tomate.
okay.
Okay.
So let's give it a little whirl. We're going to give you jalapenos because we like a little jalapeno.
I do.
Let's just no. We're hungry, guys.
Yes.
We're not eating.
I want Greedo.
You ain't gotta wait for me.
Are you sure?
I just wanna, yeah, just go ahead and get into it because I need the people to really see your honest reaction. What do you think?
It's delicious. Let me just do one just for a good measure. Another one.
You can take as much as you like. I'm
And then
hungry.
another one.
I'm hungry.
It's delicious.
What do you like about spinach dip?
Mm,
That was such an odd choice. I'm not odd. I just people be like mac and cheese or cheesecake, and you.
well, I love spinach dip. I love spinach. And then I really do love like the creaminess of it and just, it's just tasty. And this is really delicious. And this still has creaminess, which is what really brings me to spinach dip. It's very, very good. I would not know that there wasn't any dairy in it.
See? And that's what my biggest thing is, that people have to be converted. Like, you got to turn one tummy at a time. Like, I literally have to make people taste it, because if they see on the menu something that's vegan or dairy free, they're not going to immediately be like, sign me up for that. They're going to think it's going to be bland or it's going to have an aftertaste. So
There's no aftertaste.
Okay.
It's just tasty. That's it. Like, it really, really is. It's divine.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but
Toot,
BB.
toot.
What movie was that from?
I don't know. Wait, no. I remember that. Can I get a beep, beep? Can I get a toot, toot? From R. Kelly's, what was that?
Ignition.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I forgot about R. Kelly. They still be trying to play his songs at weddings. People let us step in the name of love. No, but yes, Lina, I want to talk about your journey. I think me and you have a lot in common when it comes to like our faith and how we prefer our faith over the actual facts. And, you know, when God tells you something and it doesn't seem like it's the logical thing to do, and you are not getting the support that you want, like, how do you navigate that? Or how have you been able to, like, excel in your career with those challenges?
Well, I would say everything that God has told me to do, I failed at. In all honesty, like, it didn't go the way that I anticipated.
Yeah.
So I would say for me, like, when God has told me to do something, I did it, but I always thought in my mind, because he told me to do it, it was going to end up some type of like
Grand thing.
Yes. And
Ooh.
each time
Listen.
that the Lord has told me to do something and I went on it, did it, I always end up like, why? You know what I mean? Like, no, Lord, you said, you know, because it never is smooth. It never is easy. It always end up making me look foolish in the beginning. And then what I'm realizing is that over time, I'm starting to see the bigger picture. And I've kind of just chalked that up to, if God really showed me the truth about it and how it was really going to hurt me and how much I would fail before I could ever become a success, I would never step out on faith and do anything.
Right. And I think he be irritating me sometimes with that. Like, even as it relates to my mom, he will tell my mom to give up some brand new patio furniture to somebody, or to be a blessing. And I'm looking at her like, well, when is he going to tell somebody else to be a blessing to you? Or when is you're going to like reap the benefits of everything that you sow? But I believe that like everything is always a lesson first, and it could be a blessing to others. And through that, we have to find the blessing in disguise. Like, I thought I was going to be doing music forever, and got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, had to cut out dairy so that I wouldn't be on antidepressants. And I struggled. And I'm like, I don't know any good foods back then. 10 years ago, there wasn't the Follow Your Heart and the Misha's Kinds and the Daya and the other brands that will let you feel like you're not being left out. So I decided to write a cookbook. But even then, it took me 5 years to write that. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt so discouraged. And I literally just stepped out on faith and was like, let me do something. And no matter how many books I sold, the fact that I completed something reveals so much about me and what God has imparted in me. Like, I can literally do all things through Christ, and anything is available to me. And I talk a lot with my friends about the difference between jealousy and envy. And jealousy is somebody seeing something that I have, like a possession, and them wanting it. So like my man or my bag, they're like, "Oh, I want it." And you're like, "No, you can't have my man. Like that's my man." But envy is you seeing something and not believing it's possible for you. And that's a very dangerous thing, because if you can't see that you can have what Oprah has, or what Beyonce has, or what Rihanna has, or what whoever you see has, that's going to eat away at you and you're going to become bitter. So I always tell people I've never been envious of anyone in my life. Anything I see, I think I can do it. Like, I was crazy enough to say I can have a cookbook, don't know a thing about writing. I said I'm going to have a cooking show. The podcast itself, like, you jump out the plane and build the parachute on the way down. And so I just think that God just has a funny way of like teaching us what's really important. Because at the end of the day, we can't take all of these riches. And even if God was to bless us with all the riches, I don't think a lot of us would really be able to handle all of it. If we can't be a good steward over our little money now, or our little time now, or our our impact now, big? How can he, give you the big? Yes.
I think it's true.
I want to talk about, I know that your husband, Jeff, is allergic to peanuts. And we discovered this at my house for a party. And I had a peanut cilantro dressing. And he started doing and doing all this. They had to go to 7-Eleven and get him, I don't know what, Benadryl, whatever it was. So, like, dairy, peanuts are in a lot of stuff as well. So how do you like navigate like cooking for someone who has a dietary restriction?
Well, we don't navigate it. We just eliminate it, because I can't have him passing out in the house. Like, the kids, we used to try to, I'm not a big peanut or peanut butter fan or whatever, but kids really are. So, we would get peanut butter and try to put it up. But the thing is like, when you're allergic to something, if you have a knife and then you put it in the sink, or you put it in the dishwasher with the rest of the dishes or whatever, that can cause a problem and stuff like that. So what I did was just eliminate peanut butter altogether, and we use almond butter, and that's how you eliminate. Like, we just can't have it in our house. So I don't cook nothing with nuts or nothing in it. I mean,
but you have to look at labels, right? Like, if you're out and about, and you have to make sure.
Well, no. Now, when we go out to eat, the same thing that has happened to us out in like a restaurant, like randomly getting food from the food court, and it was, I mean, we should have known, because it was like a Thai spot, and they're the ones that deal more with like peanuts. And so he's eating the food, and he starts that same. But I think also the older that he has gotten, the more tolerance that he has. So what would have almost killed him 15 years ago, because I remember 15 years ago he almost had an attack. His glands started swelling shut, and he was in the shower, and it was a very scary moment, and his parents had to come and help him out, and it was just bad. But that same amount of peanut butter now wouldn't take him out, because for some reason those instances, and he told me, he was like, I just seen like my life flash, and he was like, I'm about to be taken out of here over no peanut brownie that he thought was chocolate chips. So, yeah, I would just say that for restrictions, you just have to know like where to go and what kind of food to buy. But I mean, before him, I did enjoy a good, peanut butter jelly sandwich. Ugh,
I love peanut butter.
So good.
I
so
hate peanuts, but I love
gooey.
peanut butter and jelly. It's so good.
What, do you like the ones without the crust?
Yes, I think I invented that. Like,
in your mind,
right? Yes, like kettle corn.
We all did.
Yes, I never liked the crust, even when I was little. And then when Crustables came out, I was like, no one ran this by me.
Yes.
Yeah, this is mine. Yes. And I like grape jelly.
I do too.
With my peanut butter. I don't want the seeds of the strawberries. I want the grape. Oh my God. We should make one after this. It's so good. Yes. Chef's kiss. It be the simple things.
Yes.
So remember we did that Beach Bodies class?
Yes.
So I've been struggling, not struggling, but my weight goes up and down. I don't have a scale. Eliminating dairy has helped, but because I know how to cook anything dairy free, I'll make a cheesecake. And so the pounds are still going to go. I see that you are still slim and keeping the weight off. How do you maintain, like, do you have a special diet?
Yeah, that's called keeping my husband. So whatever, if I don't want some other bitty trying to get my man, I gotta
Right.
stay in shape. So I'll be trying to keep it right, keep it tight. So the diet is hunger. I be hungry, okay? But I was working out like maybe 5 times a week or whatever, but I
Oh,
know
no.
at 4:30 in the morning before I take
Goodbye,
my
girl
baby
bye.
son to school. But now that he's on summer vacation, I've been kind of lackadaisical and kind of like lazy because I don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn because he's out for summer break. But I eat like a bird, and just a
You
little
just
bit of
pack a
this,
little.
yeah, a little bit of that. I think too much of anything is not good for anybody, so I don't really have any like restrictions per se. As far as dairy, I never
Yeah, let's talk about dairy. How often are you consuming dairy?
I'm not a consumer of like dairy just period. But not because of I just never been a big dairy person. You know, I like some people
As far as like
like
cheese
my
and stuff, like
daughter.
do you have butter, or
I
is it like
think
do you buy a lot of cheese or you just don't buy a lot of cheese?
no, I just kind of I never really been a big dairy person, but it's never been because of anything other than I never really liked it. You know, a lot of people do like drink milk and stuff like that. Like
I
my
never.
daughter is like that and always been, and she still is. Like I've never been like that though. Some people are, but I do like cheese. But I think also because I never really consumed dairy on a regular basis since I was basically like a young kid, that when I do have it, sometimes it could mess with my stomach, but I never didn't have it because it messed with my stomach. I just think, also the older you get, and just like if when I was younger, I really didn't like have any dietary restrictions. So I never eliminated dairy on purpose. It's just I wasn't that into it. So right now I can still I'll eat a little bit of it, but I feel like low key there might be some like lactose kind of intolerance stuff going on. But I could kind of really take it or leave it. If I could have something maybe that tastes like dairy, like this spinach dip that you made. This is delicious, and my stomach wouldn't rumble behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I really don't have no restrictions. I just think as getting older, um, it kind you just have to really watch out because everything gets on your body. Like,
No, it especially after 40,
yes, it's like,
I lost my eyesight.
girl,
like,
no, this is
like
just not right.
I used to have a fast metabolism. Like I would eat
Mm-mm.
whatever. I'm like you. I eat very small portions. Um and I was kind of active or kind of moving, but it's just that come off is real slow now. So I
Yeah.
have to be active every single day. And just like you, I didn't eat a lot of dairy. I wasn't a milk drinker. Um the only cheese I like was the American cheese. Lord forgive me, but the processed craft
Mm-hmm.
on burgers
And the
was my
plastic.
favorite. And the
Mm-hmm.
plastic, yeah, and I don't even know what cheese. I don't even know if there's cheese in there, but
Right.
I just like the way it melted. But I never put cheese on my tacos. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cake, pie, cheesecake, um,
A dessert.
cookie, desserts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Snickers. I miss Snickers the most.
Mm.
Never was a big mac and cheese fan,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's been a long journey in trying to figure out like what I can have, because everything has dairy in it. So you'll think something is dairy free, just because why would somebody put dairy in Lay's potato chips like
Mm-hmm.
barbecue chips? But
Mm-hmm.
there goes milk, so
Mm-hmm.
we have to be really careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I wanted to talk to you about like juggling your mommy duty, wifely duties with your actual career. So how does like being an entrepreneur, a creative, an actress, and I want to get into some of the stuff you've been up to. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen a couple of your movies. I'm super excited
Mm-hmm.
to watch what you have coming up. But can you just share with me about like the day to day process that you go through?
Um, well, I mean, I was a really young mom. I was a mom when I was 15 years old. Like, I've been on my own for a very long time. So, to me, it's second nature. Like, I don't know how to do anything without putting other people first. That's what happens when you become a teen mom. So, um, yeah, watch out for that. Everybody watching. Don't become a teen mom because it's a really hard job. But one thing that I can say about that is that now that I am in my 40s and my oldest is soon to be 26, like
Oh, Asia's about to be 26.
yeah, I think that it's been like a real blessing because I'm able to do what I want to do now. I'm able to live my life. I don't know how to not be a go-getter because it's just a way of life. I'm one of four children. I come from nothing, from the hood. Okay, like my mom is very well educated, but my father was a janitor basically all of my life. So like we really struggle. It's I have four brothers and a sister, so it wasn't easy for us. So I'm also kind of like low key like the black sheep of my family. So I have like these,
Same.
dreams and goals, and I was only ever taught like, "Oh, you pretty, go on and sit down." And I took that as like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna show you," So I've taken everything that people said I can't, what I wouldn't have, what I would never do, and it really just pushes me. And my children are um, just my ammunition. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would be the person I am now if I wasn't a mom when I was a young girl. So now I'm really starting to enjoy my life, but my family still comes first. Like, I don't think that there's anything that God has given me that would ever take the place of being a wife and being a mother. So if everything got taken away today or tomorrow, as long as like they're there,
You get it again.
yeah, like it comes, it goes, I can't take nothing with me, you know what I mean? But like the love and the respect that my children have for me is makes me a very wealthy woman. So
I know that's right.
I'm pleased that, my kids are doing well. My husband's a great supporter of me, which is really, really important because most of the time when you have a alpha woman, they're typically not with nobody because it's hard to tolerate a woman that kind of low key does man stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I want to talk about that, not to cut you off, as well as the black sheep. I feel like black sheeps, but first of all, why are we black sheep? Like, I know that we dance to the beat of our own drum. Um, but most of us are usually creative, or we usually like have a lot of tabs
it's the
open at the
ones
same
that's
time.
the likeliest to be successful. That's what black sheep means to me. Like,
And I think it's because we're not afraid to reach for the high apples. Like, I think like people go for the low hanging fruit because it's easy, but I go for the high because the low hanging fruit is always there. And so with that, it's like you're wacky, or like why would you want to do this thing when you could just do this easy thing? Like we were taught, like get married. My mother was a wife at 17. She had her first baby at 18. She had me at 20. Imagine a 20-year-old having a baby,
girl,
having
I just
having
told you I was
having
15.
right, having two
I
kids at
know.
20.
That's
These 20
hard.
year olds now, they
Mm-mm.
wouldn't know what to do with themselves. And our parents, they did the best that they could. Like, I have to give them grace because they were my parents, but they were only 19 and 20 when they were married and had a whole family. But I've always been looked at as like the odd one. My sister was so studious, and she was like, she probably got in trouble maybe 5 times her whole life. And I probably haven't been in trouble 5 times. I
Yes.
remember I was on punishment so much that my friends started writing me letters and mailing them to my house because I was always on
Blowing
punishment.
smoke
And it's just
signals.
I was fighting teachers. I was fighting since the fourth grade, being so
Mm-hmm.
little and people picking on you, and
Mm-hmm.
having insecurities and self-esteem issues and just trying to survive. It's just like yeah, I guess I was a black sheep now that you
Mm-hmm.
think about it. But you have to know how to channel that energy from your child and recognize, like, I was bored in class. My report cards in kindergarten, first little, whatever, it would say AEU.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher would tell my mom that Bobby is so bright, but she's finished with her work and then she bothers everybody else. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
so bored with whatever was going on
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like trying to move on. I really wasn't stimulating my creativity. And
Mm-hmm.
so as an adult, I'm like, oh, let me do this, let me do this, let me do
Mm-hmm.
this. And they be like, oh, I thought you did this. I did. Well,
Mm-hmm.
now you do this. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And people say a jack of all trades, master of none, like you should master something. I agree to a certain extent. I do think that before you can move on to something else, you need to kind of give it that 10,000 hours. And then it's okay for you to do something else. I think with purpose, for me, it's connected to my impact and not necessarily what I'm doing. So
Yes.
anything that I'm doing, whether it's culinary, music, I had an accessory business, a creative consulting company,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same message to impact people, to show God's love,
True.
to spread his just, in general, and that vehicle looks very, very different. That
Mm-hmm.
black sheep is it's a I never used to like that word, but I'm like, I'll take it on.
I
Like,
mean, it's not even something that I think you're born into that. You know what I mean? Like you are born into it. And for the first time in my life, maybe about a couple of months ago, my mom said to me, we were having a phone conversation, and she was just like, I understand you because I was a black sheep too. And it was just so like, man, it was a moment for me to be able to hear my mom recognize me after all these years. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and she referenced herself, and that could be a big reason why it took me to become an adult to understand her and to really love her presence and to have the awakening like, oh, we're more alike than we are different, and we both can relate to being the black sheep, you know. And like I said, to me, all that just means is that um people stigmatize you as just being one thing, and you can't be anything else. But, you know, I think you could be whatever God tells you to be, you know, and try whatever shoes you want to try on. Might not fit, kick it off, put on another one. Like, you could be whatever you want to be. And I feel like having that stigma within my family really catapulted me to not be afraid and to just really be open to whatever it is that God called me to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have no fear. I don't have any fear. Like, I've
Is it
already
is
been
it
treated
is it no
poorly.
fear, or is it like, do you have courage? Because I used to say I was fearless, but I do have fear, but I ignore the fear, and then I continue to do it. So I feel like I'm courageous and not fearless. Or would you say that you're without fear?
I would say that I'm the type of person that if something scares me, I do it because it scares me.
Well, then I feel like
So,
you're more
like,
courageous.
I'm like, oh, that makes me feel, oh, I guess I better try it then. Like, I'm that person.
Yeah.
So, I've always, um, but fear is healthy too. You know what I mean? And too much anything ain't good, but having a dose of fear can, like help you push through things, because why not? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have this feeling. It feels disgusting to be afraid. Like, it
Not
really is. It,
disgusting.
it it makes me disgusted to be afraid. So, I mean, if I'm, why not? Like, okay, this is just a moment, so this too shall pass. That moment and that stomach,
Mm.
like, oh, my stomach hurt. Oh, I'm queasy. I'm nervous. I'm scared. At the end of the day, being scared is different from having fear. So I have no fear. Do I get scared? Yes, I get scared. That's the
Hmm.
nerves. That's the butterflies. That's the
Interesting.
feeling the inadequacy. That's the anxiety. That's all those things. But nah, I have no fear.
We ain't afraid of nothing.
Nah.
So tell us what you've been working on, like some of the things that we could go and support you in right now.
Okay, so I just filmed, wrapped up filming in March,
Hmm.
a 3-part series that I am calling like a trilogy, and it's three
Sorry.
parts.
Did you taste the jalapeno?
No,
Oh
no,
my
let
god! I
me.
just had it was so
You know
good.
what? Let's see.
Oh my god! I got sidetracked. I
Why
just
did you
needed
juice
somebody else
me?
to. Do you see one in there?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Let
That's
the
my
people know.
favorite.
It just
Mhm.
Don't it do? I know you
This
was.
is good.
I know you was in a way, but I needed
Mhm.
somebody else to experience it.
Mm-mm.
Sorry, your
It's good.
trilogy.
Mhm. So, um, yeah. So it's called The Coach's Fate,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote it, directed, executive produced it. I'm also starring in it, and it's a good show. It's 3-part series, so I'm just gonna keep doing 3-part series. Um, it should be out by the end of this summer, God willing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's about a coach and his wife, and just basically you get to see the ups and downs of being in a modern day marriage, along with, going off the path when your trials and tribulations become too much. So it's really interesting. I have some heavy hitters in it. I worked with Columbus Short on this, who I absolutely think he's just a phenomenal actor and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get his flowers. I'm working with Omar Gooding in this series. Um, it's just been a blessing. So I'm excited, and I'm just gonna keep playing it by ear and just keep, putting one foot in front of the other. And I do consider what I do a part of like my ministry, so it's wonderful that I can say I did this or I did that, but ultimately God gets the glory for everything that he's done in my life. And without him, I'm nothing, but I'm still a lot of hood and a little bit of ratchet. So, you still gonna get the best parts of me, even though, saved and sanctified doesn't mean holier than thou.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're gonna see some stuff. You're gonna see some real life situations up in that joint. So I'm excited.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So we close out the episode the same way every time, where we give what I call free game. So I want you to give like some advice or a tip for somebody, maybe a creative following their dreams, and then I will give a dairy free tip.
Oh, okay. Hmm. I would say my tip to anybody, not just creatives, I would say to anybody is not to let anyone ever be able to stifle you, even though they're afraid of you being successful. Don't be afraid of it. Just let it out. Do you. At the end of the day, you're all you got.
All right. So my tip would be, since we have been talking about cheese, did you guys know that shredded cheese has sawdust in it? I don't know if you know that, but if you're using cheese, do not use the pre-made shredded cheese. When you do
Shut up.
shredded cheese by hand and you put it in a plastic bag, you see that it sticks together. When you go get it from the grocery store and it's pre-shredded, it it's perfectly, it doesn't stick together. That's because they put pieces of like wood filler chips in there.
Mm.
So make sure you're not buying pre-made shredded cheese and that you are getting the block of cheese and shredding it yourself. So thank you, Lina, for
Of
coming on
course.
my show. I have enjoyed our conversation. Best of luck to you with your new endeavors. And that's it.
No, it ain't it. Let me give
Oh,
him my Instagram.
oh yes.
Yeah.
Tell them. Tell
Okay,
them.
my Instagram is at Lina Outler. LinaOutler.
And we'll drink to that.
Thanks, Bob. Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.
I didn't do it.